Meeting to order. We start with the Pledge of Allegiance, followed with a moment of prayer or silent reflection.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please call the roll.
Pat West, Ward 1. Here's Greg Drew, Ward 2.
Present.
Drew Worley, Ward 3.
Present.
Jeff Lucas, Ward 4.
Present.
Brian Holmes, Ward 5 is absent. Gary Howell, Council at Large, is absent. John Gabriel, Council President.
Here.
Mayor Forthenberg.
I'm here.
Amy Hendricks, Finance Director. Present. Tony Valeria, Service Director.
Here.
Chris Howard, City Engineer.
Here.
Susan Anderson, Law Director. Here.
Thank you. Next, can we entertain a motion to approve the minutes from our June 2nd meeting unless there's any additions or corrections?
So moved.
Second. Please call the roll.
Drew.
Yes.
West. Yes. Worley.
Yes.
Lucas.
Yes.
Gabriel.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. Tonight, under open to the audience, we have 3 folks signed in. Mr. Birkins, you're first. Please come forward, name and address if you would, sir.
Yeah, my name is Ken Perkins, 5408 Park Drive, fairly new resident of Vermilion, moved into that address in October of 20. Was an active runner and walker in the community. I do have a concern about the combination of speed and or barrier on Liberty between the dairy dock and the bridge on the north side of the road. There are so many people, myself included, who are walkers, runners. There's baby strollers, there's pets, there's kids, small children on bicycles there. But I don't know if you folks have really noticed the propensity for higher speeds in that area, as well as no barrier. You have from Park Drive, where the old Huggies was, to the bridge, you have very little berm. We got 2 lanes going in that direction. And quite honestly, I feel that this is a tragedy waiting to happen in this little resort town. And it's gonna really present itself, I think, in June, July, and August when the population of the town increases. I think it's a very simple solution. I talked to several people who ended up actually referring me to you folks, to set this, what I feel is a potential problem up. But I think there could easily be a traffic calming situation from the traffic light up at the dairy dock to the bridge by converting to 1 lane at that point in time to put the barrier there, because there's no guardrail on that sidewalk. And you have the wide expanse of the entrance and egress from both Quaker State and the Huggies, where it's a driveway, so there's zero involvement. My fear is somebody traveling 50 miles an hour, and I'm serious, I see this all the time. I'm out there every day. People driving fast. When we have a cell phone or a vehicle entertainment issue going there, and somebody veers off, there's nothing to stop it. Nothing to stop it. There's no barrier. As we come into town, obviously after the bridge, we have a sidewalk that there is a gap, a grass gap there, right? It gives us a little bit of time as a pedestrian, to be responsive. It won't happen in that area from Park Drive to the bridge. So I really would like to suggest that we, I spoke with Captain Graham in the police department. He mentioned a device that can actually track, obviously the number of vehicles and the speeds of which, they're going down Liberty there. But in my 4 years, I have never seen a cruiser stop anybody in that expanse of road. And we are, just to keep it in mind, we're less than a half a mile away from the city center of this wonderful little community at that point in time. And we have 2 lanes of traffic going that fast. So again, my mantra here, this is an accident waiting to happen, and I would appreciate your consideration in evaluating, you know, what the situation is right there. I'd be happy to take any questions you might have of me.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Next up, we have Mr. Joseph Jones. Name and address, please.
Joseph Jones, 218 Essex Road. I'm actually here on behalf of my aunt. She lives on Shady Lake in the cul-de-sac. She's actually the lady that you guys were probably discussing last week. Her house is, I think there's 3 or 4 houses on the cul-de-sac, and her house sits next to a house that sits into the center, and then there's a fire hydrant at the end of their driveway about 5.5, 6 feet off. And the problem is that there's cars continually parking there, blocking it, and it's a small cul-de-sac, it's not that big, so to get an emergency vehicle in there would be challenging. To get to would be damn near impossible when there's that many people parked along that cul-de-sac. I don't know if the situation was presented to you guys as accurately as it actually is. I don't know if there was pictures presented to you, but if you take a look at the cul-de-sac and you take a look at the house that it's in front of, there is a fire hydrant there. And my aunt has showed me several pictures. I can send them to you in an email of people parked in front of the cul-de-sac. And I don't think there's any need to legislate or anything. It's just, I think there's ordinances on the books about fire hydrants that probably just need to be enforced, or maybe even let the homeowners know that, you know, you can't really park anywhere in front of this hydrant because it's going to impede people. I don't know how many feet you got to give them in front of a hydrant for them to get in, but their driveway is 5 feet from the hydrant, and it's around a curved cul-de-sac. So as you curve, their driveway starts up and up a sort of hill, and you go over to the left, and there's the hydrant there about 5 feet. So it's a tight squeeze. If an emergency vehicle tries to get in there, and there's somebody parked there and it's an emergency, they're just probably going to have to bust through the windows or do whatever they got to do. So that's the issue. Is I went out there too. I drove out there on my bike to look at it, and it is how she said. It's not that far off. So just wanted to educate everybody and let you guys know if there's any more. I also let Gary know, but he's not here today, and I would probably have talked to Brian, but as well sometime. I get it, you know, things happen. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
We appreciate it. Next up, Alec, I'm sorry, Donovan, is it? Thank you. Please come up and name and address if you would, sir.
Good evening and thank you. Alec Conlon, 3927 Brownhelm Station Road. Kind of a couple questions and a comment. My understanding is the city is having an auction for vehicles that they are going to get rid of, police cars, whatever have you, or has it happened? I don't know. Whichever the case, my question is, where do those proceeds go? Do they go into a capital fund to be used for future purchases of vehicles, i.e. police cruisers, or say a city needs a new pickup truck? Or does this money just get dumped into the general fund where it can be spent willy-nilly on anything anybody wants to? That's my question. So, that's all I got.
Okay.
Thank you.
We will get a reply to you, no
Okay.
problem. And so that is it. Oh, we have signed up for open to the audience under response to the audience. Amy, would you like to address that question?
I can. It's not something I would need to research. Number one, we usually don't spend willy-nilly.
Well, I know. But we will get back to you, sir. Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't mean, I didn't give you any time to look at anything up here, so I apologize.
The monies that come in from the police auction we track what fund that the assets that were sold from were originally paid for, and then that would go back in, say if it was something from the fire department or streets or water, police, that type of thing.
Gotcha.
So,
Okay, thank you. Under correspondence, even, do we have just the one letter?
Just the one.
Okay. Now, this is without glasses, bear with me. We have a letter from a resident, Barbara Ramirez. She asked that, can someone tell her why she's forced to pay $11 to the EPA per month when they are not protecting our environment at all? Our federal government has been spraying literally tons of nano aluminum, barium, and 20 plus other toxins in our skies on a daily basis. Aluminum alone is a cause of Alzheimer's and dementia. Know that it does mention NASA's fake sun. Maybe he doesn't know about it, but why our ozone layer is being destroyed along with these sprays, which is likely contributing. The fake sun is also why we are being exposed 100 times more radiation than what is normal. And again, that's so, basic question is why is the $11 fee going towards EPA that she doesn't feel just under the conditions that she listed? So with that, I'm going to move on to President of Council's report. The only thing I would like to say this evening, I'd like to thank our safety forces, our street crews, Parks Department, and just a lot of volunteers. I was able to go down to the Fish Festival, and just like every year, we enjoyed it despite the weather making it somewhat soggy, so I'm grateful to everybody who participated, a lot of folks on their own time, and I thank them for that. So we'll move on to the committee reports, starting with Councilman Lucas.
Okay, Finance Committee met on June 9th. Director Hendricks reported on House Bill 335 relative to the state's budget bill. There's a provision within it called the Property Tax Relief Now Act. There's quite a bit of detail within that report, so I would encourage everyone to go to the city website and look at the Finance Committee meeting minutes of June 9th. And that's all I have on that report. Any questions, discussion?
Okay, thank you.
Next would be the Historic Design and Review Board met on June 4th. There were a couple of items on the agenda. 3 of those involved roofing and roof decks. Those were all approved, and then there was a one on Huron Street, a stone wall, and they also received approval for that fence. It's a stone wall to be installed. And that's all from the minutes of June 4th, 2025. Okay, any
questions?
Any questions? All right, the next meeting was at 7 o'clock on June 4th. That was the Municipal Planning Commission, and it was a very lively discussion relative to the zoning regulation discussion, which is now opened up. And Commission had asked for a little bit of guidance with respect to what is the administration's position relative to cultivation and dispensary. So those were shared with the Commission, and they came to the conclusion of moving it forward to council. Their 2 areas that were passed 5-0 were for cultivation, it to be only in zone I2, and for dispensaries, it would be relegated to potentially a new zoning, which would be a combination of B3, and this new zone would be called B5, which would then include the cannabis distribution dispensary. So that's where it was left. That approved 5-0 as well, and that would be from the bridge on Liberty Avenue, just past the car wash east, and that would be that new B5 area. That was all that was discussed there. It is now in our laps. Any discussion relative to that?
They extend all the way to the end of town on the east side?
It'll go from that bridge all the way to Baumhart Road, and then the I-2 is primarily a little bit west of Baumhart, outside of the Lorraine zone. So that would be where they could grow said cannabis.
The cell would be
I-2 and B3, but new zoning for a B5 is discussed. Tony.
Just to clarify, anything that is B3 currently east of the bridge would go over to a B5. So I don't think it would go all the way to Palmer. It would just be anything that's.
Anything that's B3, that extends.
And that was my concern. I mean, could a dispensary open up next to Road to Hope? Technically. Is there any other restrictions that we're gonna be in?
That is all,
place, you know?
let's not get too carried away this evening. This topic isn't actually, he's reporting on the minutes of what was discussed, so let's not get.
Were those topics discussed?
Huh?
Were those,
Well,
Was that-
that is coming before us.
Okay.
So all that will be discussed at either streets, buildings, or legislative, I assume legislative, moving forward. So we'll have that linked discussions there versus here.
I have nothing further.
Okay, thank you so much. Councilman Worley.
Health and safety minute, last Monday, you can see the full minutes on the city's website. That's my report for health and safety. And then I have no report for, Vermilion Tree Commission. Next meeting will be, next month, sorry, I forgot this is the third meeting we've had this month. I'll have a chance to tell us when that meeting is before that happens.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. Mr. Howe's not here this evening. On streets, buildings, and grounds, we had two topics. One of which was the cul-de-sac referenced earlier by Mr. Jones. And it was discussed, and the chief of police, after it was pointed out to him that they felt there were violations of parking in front of fire hydrants, he did encourage people to call if they felt there was an issue there. And he also mentioned that with the fire chiefs present, they mentioned that any cars that were in front of a hydrant parked, and if there was an incident, that they maybe meet an untimely damage as far as hoses getting put through the windows and things of that nature. So I would recommend to everybody not park in front of a hydrant in a cul-de-sac or elsewhere for that matter. Also, we had a brief discussion on the streets that we are currently engaged in. Engineering design services are out for Pineview and Brown Home Station. Those we will not be able to complete this year. But however, Councilman Drew did ask if both Larchmont and Nautical were on the slate, and Engineer Howard affirmed that they were indeed out for bid. So those we're hopeful we can get to this year yet. And then resident Homer Taft encouraged us to do a broad sweeping review of not only the condition of the streets overall, but of the utilities underneath those as well. And with that, that was all we had on the streets agenda. I did not, was not able to attend the planning commission, although I did read the minutes from it, and the planning, I'm sorry, my correction, the Port Authority. I'm just looking at the planning commission here. But yeah, I did not attend the Port Authority meeting due to a conflict, but I did read the minutes from it, and the signs were encouraging at all the properties except for the ramp. The funding is up, and the only problem with the ramp was weather. Some of that was weather related. The fishing's been extremely well. The project down from McGarvey's is, if not near complete, it is as close as you can get to complete. So I encourage people to go view that. There was again a brief discussion on logs in the river, something that's been happening all 34 years that I've worked on the river. And we'll probably be discussing that years from now after I'm gone, so to no avail. But they are looking for grants or money to get assistance with the removal and disposal of those materials that do come down. So hopefully they'll be successful in that venture. And with that, I will move on to Councilman West.
Okay, on the Main Street reports, the meeting was on the 5th of this month, and they are planning for the market in the park already, and they're making up new signs for town. I love this little group. Anyway, they also received an award from the Ohio Senate, Outstanding Achievement, and they had to meet rigorous standards in various programs and strong private partnerships for local businesses. And so I'm just so proud of them. Congratulations.
Very nice. That concludes your report?
Yes, it concludes.
Thank you, I appreciate it. Councilman Drew.
Utilities met on June 9th, and the only discussion that we had was about contractor responsibilities with wiring wrapped around telephone poles and really the sloppiness they're leaving our beautiful city. So I'm hoping that there were some recommendations to the administration to try to either reach out to probably the two culprits, Spectrum and the other internet provider here in town, and then maybe even send something off to utility commissions in the state of Ohio. So wait for the administration to report back on that. That's it.
Thank you. Any questions? Okay, thank you. Moving right along, we have the mayor/safety director's report. Mayor Porthover.
Thank you, Council President. I don't want to duplicate what the Council President has reported, but I would say I've been to every day of the Fish Festival, and it was really a logistical achievement, as it always is. Despite the weather, all events happen, and even the fireworks on a rainy night, almost rainy, boat parade, Father's Day parade, bands performed, it all came off, and it was surprisingly well attended, considering the challenge. So yeah, my hat's off to the Chamber of Commerce, Executive Director Sandy Coe, and all of those many volunteers that you mentioned. There was a lot of them, and they did a great job. And Monday morning, it's almost like nothing happened, clean as a whistle.
Any questions for the mayor or comments? Thank you. Moving along, the service director's report.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm happy to report that the city was awarded a grant for the Vermilion Road Reconstruction Phase 4B project as part of the Surface Transportation Block Grant Program through the Metropolitan Planning Organization. This grant will fund 80% of a nearly $1.8 million construction cost, and it will also cover nearly 80% of the construction engineering cost. The project will consist of a full-depth pavement replacement and a widening of the roadway to provide 11-foot lanes with 2-foot shoulders. The limits of the project will start at the northerly end of the Vermilion Road Phase 4A project and continue north for 2,125 feet. Funds for this project will be available in state fiscal year 2029. The city was also fortunate enough to receive a grant from the Ohio Department of Transportation through the Transportation Alternatives Program for $362,443 for the Safe Routes to School Phase 3 project. This project will include the installation of new sidewalks on the east side of State Street from the railroad tracks south to Sailorway Drive. Funds for this project will be available in state fiscal year 2026. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Any questions for the service director? That's incredible. That's awesome news. Thank you. Next up, we have the finance director, Director Hendrick.
Thank you, Councilman Gabriel. This evening you have on the agenda appropriation modifications for 2025. Those were submitted again on June 11th by email, and I would like to ask that the rules be suspended so those can be passed this evening so we can get moving on a couple of those items rather than have to wait till the middle of July. Also, auditors are on site this week. They have in hand the completed financial statements for 2024, and they came in with their list of items they wanted to start doing testing on, and there were 3 of them there working hard today, so we were almost outnumbered by, we had someone requesting information from each one of us at any given time. So, but that is going well and is going smoothly. And that completes my report.
Thank you. Any questions for the finance director? Okay. Moving right along, city engineers report. Mr. Howard.
Thank you, Council President. A couple updates for council on construction projects. On the Vermilion Lake Sanitary Sewer Project, contractors currently on Edgewater and Cummings working on sanitary laterals. Pavement milling started today on Roland, Aldrich, and Harcourt. Tomorrow they'll be working on any base repairs that are needed. And then on Wednesday, weather permitting, they will be placing the intermediate asphalt on those 3 streets, along with starting milling of Woodbridge and then working their way eastbound. So they are making good progress on that. This is just the intermediate. Look at the surface course gap, but at least with the intermediate. And then we had a pre-construction meeting for Edgewater Boulevard water line replacement phase 1. The contractor is tentatively scheduled to start July 7th on that project, working from Roland east. That concludes my report.
Thank you. Any questions?
Did you say July 7th for the phase 1 for the water line?
Yes.
And then how far into, the water line's gonna be in the right of way?
Yes.
So how far into it is the plan? Is it 4 feet in? Because
It varies.
if the right of way is like 8 foot-ish,
It's-
roughly?
No, the fire plan,
Is
it's
it-
60-foot right away. You mean from the edge of
From the,
pavement?
yes,
It varies.
okay.
The
And,
existing water line will be in service when that's all.
okay. There's not a day that goes by that I'm not down there that I'm asked that question of where's the placement going to be? And then the intermediate, will that be passable for trucks?
Yeah.
So there's gonna be no change in the flow of traffic down there? Okay. That's all the questions I have.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? Okay, thank you, Mr. Howard. Next up, we have the law director report.
Thank you, Council President. I don't have a report, but I would just make a recommendation that once council determines how it would like to proceed with the cannabis regulations, that I review it for legal requirements before possible action.
Yeah, almost certainly will happen. Yeah, that's gonna be a big step, so I appreciate it. Okay, we don't have anything under old business. Under new business, I would like us at the end of this meeting to adjourn into executive session to discuss personnel matters to do with employee compensation. And with that, we will begin the reading of the ordinances, starting with let's make a motion. I'm skipping around. Do it at the end of the ordinances. So I would entertain a motion to adjourn to executive session, for personnel matters to include compensation. So moved. I'll second that. Please call the roll.
West? Yes.
Drew,
Yes.
Worley,
No.
Lucas,
Yes.
Gabriel,
Yes.
motion
Thank you. Okay, under reading of its ordinances, we have a table third reading. If you would like to read that ordinance, then we can discuss to untable that ordinance.
Okay. Table third reading ordinance 2025-35, an ordinance amending chapter 406 of the codified ordinances of the city of Vermilion entitled Traffic Control Map and section 406.01G entitled Established.
Okay, then can we have a motion to untable ordinance 2025-35? I'll actually make that motion.
Second.
Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Further discussion, we're gonna untable this and then at that point we'll vote
Correct.
tonight to
Yep.
decide. Yes, okay.
Worley,
If I just have clarification, what was the motion on again? To untable?
To untable.
Yes.
Lucas,
Yes.
Drew,
Yes.
West, Gabriel,
Yes.
motion carried.
Thank you. Can we entertain a motion to adopt ordinance 2025-35? I'll entertain a motion to adopt ordinance 2025-35. There's my motion. Is there a second?
I second.
Okay. Any discussion?
I don't think that we need to do this. I've laid it out there plenty of times as to why. I haven't heard really any, not even good, decent arguments as to why this should be done, so I'm gonna vote no.
Okay.
Yeah, this really stems and started with one resident who was probably having a difficult time getting out of their driveway where their guests were. We did have a resident who came to the meeting 2 times. He kind of admitted that he was the person that was parking there, and he also gave us some assurance that he would be a good neighbor and try to help out. So I think we need to let this thing die and see if they can sort this out amongst themselves before we start passing legislation.
Okay.
If I could just add one more
Sure,
thing.
absolutely.
The only thing that I would recommend, you could also paint that curb yellow to denote the 50 feet, but you could put up a no parking from here to corner sign, like right down the road on Decatur and South Street. Just to, hey, you cannot park here, but besides that, I don't think we need to change the traffic code. Perfect.
I had an idea before, why didn't they put some kind of mirror so that this person can get out of their driveway just by looking at a mirror on a pole or something? I've seen those before.
Or we'll have to address that with Mr. Valeris along with I do like the sign and the curb thing too, so, yeah. Please call the roll.
Drew,
No.
West,
If we're gonna actually extend the parking prohibition from the stop sign. I'm sorry,
Yes, Worley?
Motion is to adopt, correct?
Correct.
No, absolutely not.
Lucas?
No.
Gabriel?
No.
Motion fails.
Okay, thank you. Please continue.
Second reading ordinance 2025-42. An ordinance authorizing and directing the mayor of the city of Vermilion, Ohio to enter into a contract with Norwalk Concrete Industries of Norwalk, Ohio for the purchase and partial installation of pre-manufactured restrooms at Sherrod Park, authorizing the finance director to make payment in an amount not to exceed $77,460 and declaring an emergency.
Okay, that will go to the third reading. Please continue.
Second reading, ordinance 2025-43, an ordinance amending ordinance 2025-6 adopted March 3rd, 2025, to make appropriations for current expenditures and to amend the 2025 certificate of estimated resources for the city of Vermilion, Ohio.
Okay, thank you. Amy said this, what we needed this for compliance.
Yes, please.
Then can we entertain a motion to suspend the rules on ordinance 2025-43?
So
I'll make
moved.
that motion.
Second.
West? Yes. Drew?
Yes.
Lucas?
Yes.
Worley?
No.
Gabriel?
Yes.
Motion.
I don't think we have enough. Get to five.
I'm sorry, yes, you're
I'm
right.
afraid that will have to go to a third reading. And with that, our meeting dates are July 7th, we'll be meeting, filling at 6, I'm sorry.
If I may, what's it gonna hold up the 3 weeks difference between now and next meeting? What's it gonna stop?
Well, any of these items that someone is trying to submit an order against, that there's not enough money with this in there, it's going to stop those. So I do know that there are some things that I think they're doing with prep on the Sherrod Park. The state fees, Fund 802, had to be increased because of the actuals. Those are the items. So what it will mean is the auditors pick this month to analyze the appropriations. We have the potential for a citation.
The only reason I ask, I'm wrestling with it here, because I can bring up another motion to bring it back up to vote, because I'm the one that voted against it.
Correct.
And I definitely don't want us to get in trouble, especially with the state and auditors and pay fines that we don't have to. I don't understand how they can be pulling money from these accounts if we haven't approved this stuff yet.
They're not. They're not pulling the money yet. That's the reason for, it's gonna hold those things up. We do have, for compliance sake, things that just have happened. For example, the natural gas, we've already spent in the street fund and the water fund, street fund and wastewater fund, we've already been billed for more than we even spent last year. So those bills are going to run us in the red, as an example of something that really no one could control or really even foresee.
I just don't understand how the 3 weeks would really make a difference.
Well, if the bills are due, and if the auditors check for compliance, I'm trying to keep us on a good path. What council wishes to do is up to them.
Yeah, and that's why I held this up, because it's gonna get to the point where they come and they look at this stuff and they're gonna fine us for things, and that's a possibility.
They will not fine us, but they'll put a citation on
It
the
doesn't
audit
look good.
report for non-compliance.
Yeah, all right, I'll make a motion to suspend the rules for 2025-43.
I'll second that. Is there any discussion? Please call the roll.
Council President, I think technically under procedural rules, you would have to make a motion to reconsider the second reading first.
The second reading, okay. Then let's entertain a motion to reconsider the second reading. We heard you ready.
Yep.
We can let you catch up, it's okay.
I'll second that.
I think we need a, made the motion.
Mhm.
Okay.
Any second? Okay, please call the roll.
West? Yes. Worley?
Yes.
Drew?
Yes.
Lucas?
Yes.
Gabriel?
Yes.
Motion
Okay,
carries.
thank you. Councilman Wood?
Make a motion to suspend the rules and adopt ordinance 2025-43.
I'll second that. Please call the roll.
West? Yes. Drew?
Yes.
Worley?
Yes.
Lucas?
Yes.
Gabriel?
motion to adopt and approve.
Mhm.
Okay, so the ordinance is not written as an emergency. Is it intended to be approved as an emergency, which means it goes into effect immediately?
I thought we were told before it doesn't have to be
Immediately,
emergency.
okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it wasn't in the,
Finance Director Hendricks.
Gotcha.
clarified
Yeah, it wasn't in
it
the-
goes
the
into
language of
adopt
the
that. Okay,
ordinance.
just want to make sure.
so we all good?
Okay, good.
Perfect. Okay, once again, the meeting dates coming up are July 7th, that'll be a regular city council meeting. On July 14th, we will have committee meetings with legislative, health and safety, finance. On the 21st, we'll have Vermilion City Council meetings, and on the 28th will be streets, buildings, and grounds and utilities. And with that, we are going to recess into executive session.